Welcome back to my channel. Today is the big day. I get to show you my greenhouse finally. I want to thank Canopia by Palrum for this wonderful greenhouse, and I'm looking forward to using it for many, many years to come. I can see myself storing my plants through the winter months, as well as seed starting and spending time in there in general in the winter months. Y'all, it's like the weather conspired against us. The gentleman who was working on the greenhouse is also a plumber. He's an overall handyman. And he got COVID while working on it. Then we had a freeze-mageddon. And as a result, people's plumbing and issues were breaking. So he had to go take care of that. And I couldn't, with a good conscience, say, come fix my greenhouse and let these people suffer in the Georgia cold, because it was very cold with no water and no heat. And then, of course, we had periods of intense rain. And because it was an area that had no plantings before and an area in which we removed all the trees and vegetation, everything was a mud pit for days following rain. And because this is Georgia, we have a rainy spring. That's when we get our moisture that keeps us through the Georgia heat. So it took a while to get here, but boy, oh boy, I think it was so worth it. Y'all, I come out my house and every time I turn and look, I grin. I go up there and I look and I smile. And I have this vision of what it'll look like when it is completely set up exactly how I want it. There will be flower beds around it. And it'll just, well, picture this: flowers completely surrounding it, and what I call a riot of colors. It's going to be an expansion of my cut flower garden area. I'm going to have flowers that I can cut from around it, but just look like it was plopped in the middle of a garden. Eventually, we're going to add a mini orchard around it also, so that it looks like it's part of the entire property, landscaped and made to fit in. Now, when I give you the tour of the greenhouse, it is not 100% completed. Let me clarify. What I mean by that is the structure is complete, but the flooring choice is not there. The I want to build a small little porch for my husband, like a ramp type thing for him, because we have just maybe like this much of a lip. And with his paralysis, yes, he takes steps, but he can't lift his legs that high. So we're going to fix that for him. And then we're going to set up a water station where we do a water catchment system utilizing the greenhouse and its gutters. So lots and lots and lots of content to come, showing you how I transform this space. Without further ado, let's take a look. Hey y'all, so we have started working on the greenhouse, and as you can see, we have got a lot of stuff that we're clearing out and moving. All the stuff was in my plastic greenhouse. This is day 2 of the greenhouse building. You can hear that they are busy working away. I have 3 men here who are working on it. We have all the parts assembling in different places, so we've made sure we had all the parts before we got started. These are all the pieces for plexiglass, and then these are the shelves still in here. So far we've made good progress. We have the front assembled and the back assembled, and we're going to be now working on the sides. we're making sure everything is square and that we're doing good with what we're doing. Day 3 of this build, and as you can see, we have a roof, we have the building made, the automatic vent openers are in, and the building has been leveled, foundation built, everything. The only thing missing is the door. This is a Canopia by Palram greenhouse. It is the Glory model. It is 8 by 12. It has 2 automatic roof vents that opens when it becomes too warm inside the greenhouse. It's amazing to me because I will stand around the yard and I'll look up and you can gradually see that it's higher than when you last looked. It also has a louvered window inside that allows you to have cross ventilation. Between the door, the window, and the 2 automatic vent opener, it keeps the greenhouse tolerable on a very warm day. I did get to choose a few accessories for the greenhouse, and one of them is a potting table, and I love it. It is metal, and this potting table allows me to be able to get dirt on it without having to worry about it being ruined, right? It is metal, which means that at the end I can wipe it off and it'll look just the same. So it's stainless steel. Other things that I chose included shelving so that I can put labels, pruners, things like that, all my equipment that I need for gardening. Additionally, I have a watering can, so when I'm seed starting, I can add water. I do have a container that contains soil that I've not moved in there yet. So in future videos, you will see the evolution of the greenhouse and how I use it. And that's what I want to show you is when you have your space, you make it work for you doing what it is you need to do. The shelves that I chose are a combination of heavy duty as well as their regular shelving. The heavy duty shelving can hold a higher weight than the regular shelving. But I mean, it's not like you're going to be swinging from them inside the greenhouse, right? I will probably put some plants as well as some planters and pots, empty pots on the shelving, so it'll be perfectly fine. One of the reasons that I chose the location that I did for the greenhouse is because the sun rises right here, travels across the sky directly above it, and then hangs out mid-center over the vegetable garden, which is right here, for a great portion of the day, which means that it's going to be getting full sun for most of the day. So when choosing a greenhouse, you want to make sure you pick the right location for optimal sunshine. Now, one of the other things, so we opted to do a 3.5 foot border of mulch around the garden on top of the virgin soil that is there. Incidentally, this is how my veggie garden looked after we had cleared it. And now, voila. So I have no doubt that in the next couple of years, I'll be able to transform this blank slate into a thriving mini orchard. What we've decided to do is make this a household orchard. So this one is for the kitchen. And then the other one that we have will be for our will be business. So that is our business orchard that has over 100 blackberry bushes, and we have several blueberry bushes, and we have fruit trees. So that will be part of the business plan. And then we will do what we need to eat for our kitchen from this mini orchard. So like I said, I put the mulch completely around the greenhouse to allow for planting flowers that I'm starting from seed, as well as some well-chosen perennials. I also had this bistro set someplace else in the yard and decided to actually move it here so I could have a place to sit when I'm up here in the garden. Isn't this beautiful, y'all? It is utilitarian. It is just the right size. It is 8 by 12. So it is 8 feet across by the front and back, and then it is 12 feet on the long side, which is here. The greenhouse has gutters on the outside, and those gutters will be useful in creating a catchment system, so all the water off the roof. And then I have these big 350-gallon IBC totes, and they'll go to the back. I'm going to put one there and then two behind my office to collect water to use to water flowers. We use our well currently for everything, and although we've never had a problem, we want to be mindful of the fact that, number one, we have to pay for that water. Number two, we do have limited resources as far as a well is not a bottomless pit unless it is tapped directly into an aquifer underground. Ours is tapped into a spring, but in severe drought, even springs dry up. So we want to be mindful of that. Now, you've heard before that I grew up in Jamaica. We use these for washing clothes and things, and it was a nod to my heritage. So I'm going to fill it and plant some alyssum, so do the whole thriller, filler, spiller thing, and every time I walk past, it'll remind me of my childhood. Another thing I want to talk about are the features of the greenhouse. It has two vents, which are self-opening. They're automatic vents, so if it's too hot, they'll open to provide air and ventilation in the greenhouse. And by midday, they're both usually open because we're averaging temperatures in the low 80s, high 70s here in Georgia already. It also has this door that comes with a key, and it's already been keyed. Another thing is the door is allowed to be latched on the outside so that I can keep the door open without it damaging, keep the door open without it flying back and forth, damaging the glass portions, plexiglass. Another feature that I love is the fact that it has a vent inside to allow me to open and have more air inside the greenhouse. So here is the other vent on the other side. One thing that I forgot to mention in the video is that we chose to use 4x4s, pressure treated lumber as the base for our greenhouse. You can use concrete, you can pour a slab. We did not want to pour a slab because we may choose at some point to relocate the greenhouse. So we wanted to do something that was secure but still portable. Why would we relocate it? We may eventually make that all orchard and move it more towards the flower beds. And so we chose to use a foundation of 4x4 posts. To make it more sturdy, we drilled holes with the rebar and reinforced it to the ground. We also used L brackets to attach to itself to the 4x4 post so that it's not moving. Y'all, I don't think a tornado coming through could pick this thing up. So it is very heavily reinforced. Thank you for joining me today and sharing in my excitement about my new greenhouse. Isn't she pretty? Y'all, I can't stop smiling. All the information pertaining to the greenhouse is linked below. The greenhouse, as well as the shelves, the potting bench, all the accessories are linked in my Amazon store for those who are interested or shopping for a greenhouse. If you've enjoyed this content or any of the content on my channel, please consider subscribing. Until next time, happy gardening.